If you love shopping on Amazon and you want to support Southgate Media Podcast, if you go to southgatemedia.com, there's a portal where you can log into your Amazon from there that a portion of everything you buy on Amazon goes to Southgate Media to help support that. So it's a great way of helping out and along with the show.
Hi, this is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to Krypton Report.
So before you get to the regular episode, we're going to take a quick moment to talk about some news, because we're going to tag this onto whichever next episode goes up. But, so, I guess, like, it's in some weird limbo talks. I've heard both sides, but they haven't for sure said that Supergirl is getting a season 2. But it's weird because they say it's getting a season 2, but the problem is now it's looking like it could get moved to the CW and not be on CBS because of budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
You know, that's saying that it's a $3 million price tag per episode. And I mean, they do shoot in LA. And everything like Arrow, Flash, and stuff all shoot in Vancouver, which is cheaper.
But to say, we all know that shooting in LA is very expensive.
So let's take a quick moment to think about that. Janine, what do you think would be some positives if it moved to the CW?
More ability for crossover episodes, which I absolutely love the idea. So,
you know, and I agree with you completely, because, I mean, The Flash has a high special effects budget, and they've been able to pull off stuff. This has been able to do very well. Like, this show's done highly done well on CBS. So I worry about going to CW, but then I look at The Flash, and I'm like, they're pulling off a lot of really great stuff.
yeah.
So I'm not too concerned about the special effects.
I'm almost thinking that would almost make the show more popular because the CW is so well known when it comes to the superhero shows. You know, that's like the go-to. So I'm almost wondering if it could benefit Supergirl in the way that, you know, maybe the amount of viewers would go up. That kind of thing.
And see, I agree, because I like the synergy that we get between Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. And technically this is connected to them because of the World's Finest episode. We know this is an alternate Earth. So the question would be, how could we get this Earth, you know, into regular continuity? We would need like a crisis event or some sort of folding of the multiverse, or,
Yeah.
you know, something to where, or there'd be a lot of, like the crossovers wouldn't be as great, but they could still make it work with Barry jumping Earth or something. I just think it would be really cool to see what she would bring. Could you imagine, like, her and, like, the next crossover, so it's Supergirl, Flash, Green Arrow, and then whoever else they pull in?
It'd be awesome. It really would. I absolutely love her and Grant Gustin together. Like, I just thought that they meshed so well. So I would be really happy if they continued to do that.
I want to see the story in this show continue, even if it has to change networks. You know, it's something people had hoped with Constantine, and, you know, they were able to pull Constantine for the one episode of Arrow to kind of give it that it still exists and it still has a vibe to it.
Right.
But everybody wanted that show to kind of, you know, come over. And I think it would have been sweet if they would have done something where they pulled it to the CW, but they made it a show that was like aired during the summer. Mm-hmm. And they made it like a 13 episode season or something like that to give you something to hold you over until the fall. So that's like the big news there. The other news is, Janina, have you heard, like I talked about this earlier. So basically Krypton's supposed to be some sort of Superman prequel. They're supposed to be ordering a pilot on Sci-Fi. It's supposed to be written by David S. Goyer, who wrote Man of Steel. And I'm like, unless Krypton was a series that focused, I think, on like Jor-El or Zor-El, and like Zod is young coming up, I don't really know if anyone would be interested, because it would just be a sci-fi show. Because, I mean, the Kryptonians have advanced technology, but they don't have any special powers on their own planet.
Right.
So would we really want to see a Krypton TV show?
I don't know.
You know, it's not like Gotham where you're just younger versions of things. Like, you can't get any younger than the infant Kal-El. And do we really want to see, like, little girl Supergirl? No, because that wouldn't be interesting either. Right. So like I said, it'd have to be, like, young Jor-El and Zor-El, so you still feel connected to the universe enough to make a fan base. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Sounds very obscure.
And
like someone's reaching to try and grab onto the whole trend.
Yes.
Now.
And the last major news is DC's about to launch their Rebirth comics. Now, I sent you a picture, and I put this out today. I think it's interesting that all of these Rebirth new costumes for the characters all look very similar to their live-action counterparts. You look at, you know, in the picture, there's Melissa, and then next to her is the New 52 suit, and then on the very end is the Rebirth suit. And it looks like an animated version.
New 52?
Yep. So where basically the Rebirth, it has the S like her New 52, but the rest of the structure is much like her live action. Superman's is very similar. Wonder Woman's is almost dead on. Batman's is slightly similar. And Green Arrow's looks like it walked off a TV show.
Now I could tell you I like it a lot better than the New 52 outfit. Because let's talk about this New 52 outfit and the problems that I have with it, okay? The cape looks dope. I absolutely love the cape. It comes around her neck and it like snaps, looks like it snaps or hangs out right there on her neck, which gives that collar effect that the New 52 Superman has in his outfit.
Which I like.
Which is a really neat thing, okay? But I have no problem with the leotard look, other than it probably would have looked cooler if she would have had, like, boy shorts or something like that, rather than just, like, straight up, you know,
this weird
bikini-style leotard thing going on here. And then let's talk about her knees. I know she's Supergirl. I know she's super strong. I know she can withstand anything, basically, okay? But let's talk about the practicality of the fact that her knees are completely open and bare. I think that as a superhero, your suit, no matter what your abilities are, need to guard your body.
Be concealing?
Yeah. It needs to be able to, whatever you come up against, because, you know, Lord only knows what Supergirl's going to come up against. We all know that she has weaknesses, just like Superman. Okay? So, you would think that she would think ahead and be like, well, I really need to guard myself from that. Her knees are completely open. To me, it's like, you know, gearing up 101. You don't gear up and leave your knees open.
Well, it's just like...
you land on your knee, you like... You know, there's so many things that you do.
It's just like I'm not a fan of the Supergirl costume where they brought her back that was in Supergirl Volume 1 that I reviewed, where she's wearing like this really loose, flowing, like blue mini skirt and like this short crop top, blue top. I mean, I know they're trying to have some sort of appeal, but like you said, practicality of that suit, there isn't any. It makes no sense at all.
And you know,
I even think this skirt, like, yeah, it's for girl, you know, but even then, like, I still think this skirt can be a problem, like when you're flying.
Yeah, to a point. I mean, I think that boy shorts would be kind of cool. Something like that, along those lines. You know, something shorter, out of the way, but tight enough to her body that it's not going to, like, impair anything.
Why can't she just have a suit like Superman's, but just a little different, like a full body suit? Why does she have to have so much bare skin?
Because it's the comic book world, and in the comic book world, they don't clothe women completely the way that they do men.
True story.
It is. That's a completely different podcast, though.
All right, so that's our quick news. Now, on with the regular show. Welcome to another episode of the Krypton Report. I'm your host, Tyler, and with me is, and always, the lovely Jania.
Hey, guys.
Welcome, Jania.
Thanks, Tyler.
We are going to be looking at the episode today, Truth and Justice, and the American Way.
Awesome.
Now, this episode is where we get to meet Siobhan. Siobhan Smythe. Yeah. Which just sounds like a horrible name.
I absolutely hate the name.
I'm bad with names. I admit it multiple times that if I hear a name, then I can pronounce it correctly. But sometimes looking at it, because I want to pronounce every letter. If it doesn't say, hey, say this with an accent, or it's, French or whatever, these letters are silent, I'll say all the letters. So it always makes me sound like an idiot. So when I see Siobhan and the way it's spelled, I'm like, duh, what?
S-I-O-B. I don't know.
H-A-N.
It's something crazy.
And even she's like, how do you say this name? And then she's like, Siobhan. She's like, you pronounced that correctly?
Siobhan.
Her name's Kara, and they can't get it right. But Siobhan? With a B?
Who knows?
I'd be like, Sibohan? Sibahan.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so her name, I think, already gives us this feeling that we're going to have some issues.
True that. I mean, the episode picks up where the last one's left off, where Astra has been killed. Poor Kara is heartbroken, and she thinks it's Martian Manhunter that did it, and not her sister. Her sister's going along with John's ruse.
Right.
And, it's just kind of... It's sad because it's killing Alex. And she just broke up with... What's his face? Why did I blank? Adam. Jeez. I think I need some more coffee. Or Spark. Good old Advocare Spark.
Advocare,
yeah. And that's why Kat's all temperamental with her and hires Siobhan.
And now let's not forget about Non showing up.
And, it was interesting that Astra has Non's crest, which was pretty cool in the funeral scene.
Yeah.
Being the way that Kryptonian women adopt, the name, and then Kryptonian daughters adopt the full name of their father as their last name. That's why it's not Kara El, it's Kara Zor-El. Just like if Jor-El had a daughter, it would have been whatever, Jor-El.
Oh, that's neat.
But sons just take the last part, being El. So you would have been like Jania Zor-El.
Sounds pretty cool.
It does sound pretty sweet. And then, how's Maxwell Lord watching Netflix in his cell? Or is he just being smart?
Well, I mean, he's extremely intelligent, so I wouldn't put it past him.
And it's also because Maxwell Lord's such a high-profile person, the DEO just have him hidden away and locked up. That can't be good.
No.
And poor Jimmy trying to talk with Lucy. She's giving him crap. It's just like he doesn't know what to do.
I mean, let's be honest here, though. You can't have a relationship and, be lying to that person and expect your relationship to be a good one. Or hiding something from a person, We all know that those relationships, they're not as strong as they should be.
No, but there's always that. See, and that's part of, we'll use Superman, Supergirl, the irony is, it's supposed to be a character that's truth and, never lies, but yet they have to live a lie on a daily basis, because of who they are.
Yes.
Now this guy, is some sort of, the villain is in a tech suit. No, my first thought was this dude thinks he's Iron Man.
Now he kind of reminded me of, what was that? The Judge.
Oh.
Off of, Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. My wife is sweet.
I love Batman the Animated Series, so. But anyway, but yeah, he kind of reminds me of the Judge. Just like that persona of,
Yeah.
killing people and going after them like that.
Judge, jury, executioner.
Definitely, yeah.
They make a reference here that he's a bounty hunter. And my first thought was Lobo.
Good.
They bring Lobo into this. Like, I know he's not Lobo, but just the idea of that character, I was like, that's too dark for this show.
For this show, yes. For other shows.
This would annoy the crap out of me.
What?
The part where Siobhan won't talk to Kara and just keeps typing her, sending her like instant messages, and they're right across the room.
Well, I think it's hilarious because when Kara answers her back, she actually talks to her. And it's like this one-sided conversation that everybody's hearing. It's pretty funny in my opinion. So.
You just remind me of something I learned in school.
What's that?
It's for a different podcast. But,
Oh.
I always feel bad. Like, if I was like Superman, Supergirl, you want a job, you want to support yourself and have a second life. But at the same time, if I knew Batman, I'd be like, dude, just give me a salary. Like, you're billionaire.
Pay me to save the world.
You're billionaire Bruce Wayne. Because I'm tired of lying to people and trying to juggle being Clark Kent and Superman. Even though they need their alternate identities to survive.
Yeah.
But still, like, everyone's like, where are you going, Kara? Why did you leave work? I have to save the world. But Siobhan, man, she all flirting with my friend zone buddy.
Man, he needs some action. As far as having a woman in his life. He needs that. Poor man needs to be looked at.
He does. I mean, Jimmy's over here, like, it's one of those things like, he's like, man, I hate you, Jimmy, but you're a nice dude and I like you at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not fair.
Jimmy's like Hugh Jackman.
Oh my gosh. You mean Hugh Jackman, the one that you're like, I hate you because every woman wants you because you can do everything, but at the same time, you're like my best friend because you're so dang cool.
Exactly.
You're such a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with you.
That's exactly right.
You're like walking male perfection.
Whoa, Tyler. Whoa.
You're tall, good looking, ripped. You can sing, you can dance, act.
Yeah, there's nothing he can't do.
Probably beat everyone up in a fight.
I mean, he is Wolverine.
I know. And
yeah, but so
Jean.
Jimmy's very much so like that. I think, especially in Wynn's eyes, like, Wynn's like, this guy can't do anything wrong, and, like, he's got all the girls, like, all around him and stuff. And
exactly. Wynn's like, can I something going on here?
I think Wynn's dope. I love Wynn.
But Lucy in this episode, she's closing in on discovering something about the DEO.
Lucy's a pain in my butt. She's one character that I have not been able to like very much.
I have a weird, love with the character in the sense of, she's annoying, but then she does well. So it's just kind of like, where's your stride? Where's your stride? And this episode teaches us that there are good aliens that survive Fort Ross who feel they paid their price, they're dead. And that's part of, I guess, if you think about it, the justice side.
Oh, the guy who's the professor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He served his time. And he's just trying to make a good living with what he's been given. And, it's sad, the alien stories are such allegorical for the way we perceive things, because in the same sense of, if you're hunting aliens and you have a good alien on your side, Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, who are willing to help out, but yet we reject them. It's like we have no sense of
fear.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Fear is the path to what?
The dark side.
Yeah.
We are totally nerding up this podcast right now.
It's a nerd podcast. If we didn't nerd it up, what would we talk about?
Oh, gosh. Hopping all over the place, talking about Batman the Animated Series, talking about Star Wars now. I mean, come on, we gotta get back on track here, Tyler.
This guillotine light energy that this dude's about to use. Mr. My voice sounds like Clancy Brown, but it's really not. It is pretty crazy that they're at this cabin and his workshop thingy is underneath.
Yeah.
It's like, how did he build that? Okay, you'd have to get help. I can barely build anything by myself, much less an underground lair.
That's pretty intense.
He would have had to have the underground lair and then build the house on top of it.
Yes. Yep. Most likely that's how you would have to do it. So I love how Alex is the savior, basically, in this episode. It's really interesting.
Fearless and buttery.
Buttery? Yes.
Maybe I'm just hungry.
Buttery. No, I love that Alex is a human, and here she is saving, aliens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just really neat that Kara is not always the only superhero in these episodes. She's not the only one that's saving the day. Alex had to save Kara in order for Kara to get out and, kick some butt. So.
Kick some butter.
Some buttery.
Parquet.
Yep.
The fight scenes are so good, so intense.
Yes.
Mr. Jailer in his costume of armor, and it's just so interesting. All this is going on during a truce time with Non because of the funeral for Astra.
Yes. Which is nice to have a break from Non in this episode. We've had so much of him and Astra lately that this is just a really good, breather. Let's just take a breather, let's take a break from all this, and then we get this different alien that comes into the picture. We've got this professor, and he's really cool. And it's neat because Kara is able to look at him, and see someone else trying to do good.
Mm-hmm.
That's from another world. It's just cool.
It's the point of a prison sometimes is rehabilitation. And he proved that he is rehabilitated.
Right.
And the other thing about this episode is just, they have to free Maxwell Lord. Don't you think you should drug him and drag him out?
That would be smart.
He's seen too much. Take him out.
Yeah. But Alex decides to free him in this. Remember?
Which is always something that people argue about, on The Flash. Yeah, they're metahumans, but you're holding people against their will without due process. At least this is the clandestine government operation that, is operating. So they have that little cloud of, we're hidden.
Yeah, but it's so hard because in The Flash, they're not really considered humans anymore. The people that they have imprisoned.
It's definitely an interesting conundrum.
It's a fine line for sure. So, this has just been a very interesting episode with Siobhan coming into the picture, and we're getting a lot of new characters in this episode.
No,
for sure.
Do you know who Siobhan is supposed to be? Or should I say become?
She becomes the Banshee, or how do you say that?
Yep, the Silver Banshee.
The Silver Banshee, there it is. Yep.
Because we love giving our superheroes colors.
I don't know.
Like, she's not the Banshee, she's the Silver Banshee.
Well, at least Supergirl's not blue and red Supergirl. You know?
Oh, that's a whole nother discussion. But I like this episode. It's building, more tension, more drama.
It's different. Like I said, it steps outside the box, and we're not seeing the same old thing that we've been seeing with Non and everything. It's a nice breath of fresh air episode. And it's very interesting because Kat is so ticked off with Kara. Kira. Yeah. Kira. She's being passive-aggressive, this entire time, and it's funny, it's humorous to me, so.
Now, I made my Iron Man joke earlier, but do you remember in the pilot episode, at the very end, there was a guy talking on the screen, and he was the villain of the 10 Rings in the first Iron Man movie, who was also in Star Trek the movie, who got killed at the very beginning? Where did he go? We haven't seen him since the pilot.
I don't even remember him.
Exactly my point.
That's funny.
I just tried to describe him to you with 2 movies I know you've seen a lot. We don't even know what happened to him. So, he needs to come back. But
speaking to the writers, bring him back.
Also,
not that they listen
to
our podcast.
They listen to this podcast. We know they do. They're sitting there like, Tyler's smart. He's got good ideas. We should write this down.
We should hire him.
Let's not give him credit. Let's just steal his ideas like everyone else does. That's for another podcast.
Oh, that's a different podcast right there.
And then here's where Kara hears the word myriad and asks about it, and her pain in the butt, I know everything computer program of a mother can't answer her. What good is having a computer to help you that doesn't answer your questions?
She does that a lot.
I think I'd stop talking. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stop. Yeah, you're useless.
You're not answering anything that I need. Everything's just vague. Anyway. Thoughts on this episode, Tyler? Anything else?
I like that they're still working through the idea of that she thinks she's angry with Hank/John because she believes that he killed her Aunt Astra, and he takes it. He doesn't say anything. He's like, "I'll take it." Somehow
Batman now?
No, he sounds like Jim.
Everyone's Batman now. I'll take it.
He sounds like Jim Gordon.
Where's that cigar?
She's like, "Why did you say that?" Never. I think I saw it on another Earth. But that's it for Truth, Justice, and the American Way.
Yeah.
Leading into our next episode. And it just keeps getting better and better. That's all I gotta say.
I definitely absolutely love this series. This series has become a favorite of mine. Let's say that. I like this series better than Arrow. And that's saying something.
Jania, I think everybody likes this show better than Arrow. I don't think there are people who still like Arrow.
I like Arrow. I still like Arrow, okay? But I really like Supergirl.
If I had to rank the Berlanti-verse and what I enjoy the most to what I enjoy the least, I would have to rank as so. Most. Drum roll.
That's bad drum roll.
I know, it was horrible. It would be The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, then Legends of Tomorrow.
I'm right there with you.
Because The Flash, every week it's on, and Supergirl. I watch the episodes at least twice. Arrow, I watched once. I think Arrow just kind of, that's a whole new podcast. if you listen to me on the Flash Arrow Power Hour, you can hear all my thoughts on Arrow and Legends and Flash.
Yep.
So, this show is dope. But let's just keep moving on. Thanks for listening and enjoying our time together. And remember, look up in the sky.